There is nothing more frustrating than watching your New York Jets on opening day of the season look so good all game long in person at MetLife Stadium just for them to lose in the fourth quarter the way that they did. I have a lot to get off my chest in this video about the Jets game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then we will turn the page over to the Buffalo Bills. The New York Jets, as you guys know, are hosting the Bills this Sunday, and the live watch party will be back. As you guys know, yesterday was Jets Media Day 2025, and it was an epic opportunity to be at the game, be with all the Jets fans that signed up for the event. It was awesome, but we're back with the live watch party Sunday. But in this video, I want to take a deep dive into everything you need to know about what happened in the game, the concerns, the biggest positives, because there are some things that this Jets team could build on, and this season is long. It's a 17-game season. The Jets are 0-1, and I do think there is a ton to be encouraged about with what we saw in Aaron Glenn's coaching debut, and more importantly, Justin Fields as the Jets quarterback. We got a lot to break down, so let's get into it. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below your biggest takeaways to the Jets and Steelers game. I'd love to hear what Jets fans have to say down below in the comments. Now, let's start off with what happened in that game, what needs to change, because the reason why us Jets fans don't feel good right now, it's simple. I mean, we lost, and I think there's a lot of people telling me that are not Jets fans, oh, what do you mean, man? The Jets look great. The Jets look so good. You should be happy. I'm like, I'm not happy. The Jets lost the game. Yes, there are exciting moments in the game that we can be excited about moving forward, no doubt about it, but like being at that game, walking out of the stadium with a loss just deflates me. That's how much I care about this team, and especially when you look at they had that game being up 26 to, what was it, 26 to 17 or something along those lines. The Jets were winning by double-digit scores, and we got to start off with Xavier Gipson because he was somebody that not only had one fumble, but two fumbles, by the way. He's lucky the first one he did not lose. McCrary Ball jumped on it. He just drops the ball after he trips over himself. I don't know if you guys caught that. And then McCrary Ball, heads-up play, recovered it. If he did not do that, the Steelers would have got the ball. He just drops it and wasn't touched by a Steeler. Fumble, and then you saw him, of course, turn the ball over on the kickoff. So Xavier Gipson, man, I mean, I don't know what Aaron Glenn's going to do, if he's going to get cut this week or if he's going to get replaced as a kick returner, but he said, Aaron Glenn, in the press conference after the game, that this is something that discipline matters as a coach. He called him out, and he's like, if you are somebody that's going to cost his team's games, you're not going to be on the football field, and maybe he's going to give Gipson another chance because he still believes in him, who knows, but his short leash is for Xavier Gipson, man. Jamal Pritchett is on the practice squad ready to go, and Jets fans did not even want him to make this 53-man roster originally, but here he is on the team making zero impact. Now, moving on to the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to get into this offense, so stay to the end of the video because the positives are coming. Don't you worry. There are a lot I want to break down, but we have to talk about the situational stuff that lost this football team the game in the New York Jets. Brandon Stephens and the entire secondary, I don't know what that was. I mean, Sauce Gardner was fantastic. We saw him travel and guard DK Metcalf everywhere he went. He gave up 2 catches for like 18 yards against DK. Sauce was phenomenal, but outside of him, the secondary was a mess. Brandon Stephens, he gave up a touchdown. The Calvin Austin just got burned on a route. The corner route was nowhere to be found. Pass interference was late in the fourth quarter. Cannot happen. And then he drops a wide open interception. If he caught that ball, we could be celebrating Victory Monday right now, but we're not. And, you know, Brandon Stephens is a guy that was really bad for the Baltimore Ravens last year, and when we signed him in free agency, Ravens fans were rejoicing, like, oh, he's off our team, thank God. And, you know, us Jets fans, when we signed him, we weren't really excited about Brandon Stephens, and we were not really like on board with that signing. We gave him a lot of money, but the one thing I will say about the Brandon Stephens situation is the positive is we got Azareye'h Thomas ready to go. Now, there's no guarantee he's a stud, but he was one of my favorite players in the entire draft class, and I don't think Thomas is going to start right now, but if Stephens keeps playing like that, the way he did yesterday throughout the whole season, definitely expect the Jets to go to Azareye'h Thomas. But something you have to note about AZ here is he got injured in training camp, and that definitely hurt his development, and he's not going to be able to play immediately. And he did not play any preseason snaps, and those are valuable for a rookie. So that's definitely something you have to note. Cannot expect Azareye'h Thomas to be plugged in right away as much as I want him to. Now, other players on the defense that struggled, Tony Adams missing a wide open tackle to DK Metcalf on third down. The Jets on defense in general on third down was brutal early on in the game. They had the first play defensively was a sack by Quinnen Williams, which, by the way, was a huge positive, big Q. Shout out to you. But the Jets had him in 3rd and long twice and gave up first downs. Like, that cannot happen. The Jets got to get off the field defensively, and they let Aaron Rodgers just pick us apart. It was really frustrating to watch, as you guys know. But Tony Adams, Andre Cisco, Michael Carter II, Brandon Stevens just did not have a good game. Michael Carter II, he dropped an interception. Now, it would have been a heck of a play. He was diving, undercut the route. Rodgers kind of threw it behind him. And Michael Carter II, we expect you to bring that in. And those little things matter. I know Michael Carter is not the reason we lost the game, but if he caught that interception, like, that probably would have been the difference of this football game. It was that tight. So definitely got to call that out. If we want to be a football team that is competing in December for a spot in the playoffs, like, those plays need to be made. And Aaron Glenn preaches turnovers, and the Jets lost this game because we turned the ball over more than they did, and that was not on our offense. It was a special teams turnover like we broke down with Xavier Gipson. And I said heading into this game, whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win the football game. And the Steelers are notorious for turning the ball over all across the field, and they did that, unfortunately. Now, I do think that another exciting thing to be excited about outside of just A.Z. Thomas, but Malachi Moore is another rookie that I think is going to be put on this football field eventually this season. And it's pretty cool where you're looking at this team on defense, you're looking at the people that are struggling, Brandon Stevens, Tony Adams. Well, we have 2 rookies waiting for their opportunities to replace them at any given moment, and I think that's going to happen at some point this season, so there is a silver lining there. And then the boneheaded penalty by Quincy Williams, the unnecessary roughness out of bounds, 15 yards late in the game, gave them all the momentum, like gave them was that on 3rd down? I can't really remember exactly, but that was such a big penalty that just gave the Steelers the momentum. They drove down the field and got points on the board. Really, really brutal stuff there. And then the other thing I had to bring up in terms of what needs to change in terms of, decision-making from a coaching staff. Nick Folk misses a point after. There's a penalty on the Steelers. Aaron Glenn decides to go for 2. I'm not upset with that idea. I think that every coach does that. If you have a penalty go in your favor on the point after, you get an easier opportunity to get 2 points. I like the aggressiveness. Unfortunately, they did not convert. Braylon Allen handoff up the middle. He got stuffed. Luckily, they adjusted on that 4th and goal later in the game, and it was a beautiful play action rollout. Justin Fields gallops into the end zone. Love to see that. But then they go for it again for the 2-point conversion later on in the game, and Aaron Glenn calls a timeout, which frustrated me. Why are we calling a timeout? Save those timeouts. And then out of the timeout, the play call was just really bad. Now, we're going to get into the play calling, the offense, and it's a big positive, but that was the one play I was scratching my head. What was that play call? Why are we throwing it to Garrett Wilson in triple coverage on a 2-point conversion when the run game is working fantastic? Like, put the ball in Justin Fields' hand. Like, honestly, QB sneak, let him just do a quarterback keeper out of the backfield. But no, that was definitely frustrating. And those points were missed. Nick Folk missing the point after got him in that situation. If he hit the PAT, they probably wouldn't have went for it on 2. The 2 missed 2-point conversions really added up and hurt this football team, and that's really how we lost this game. And then the last thing I'll say is they got to start playing winning football late in the 4th quarter. As good as this offense was, which we'll break down in detail in just a moment here, the Jets offense had 2 opportunities to win the game on offense late in the 4th quarter, and they failed. The Jets defense finally got a stop in the 4th quarter, okay? And it was a 3-and-out. They punt the ball back to the Jets. There's like 5 or 6 minutes left. That should have been the drive where they go all the way down the field, milk the clock, score a touchdown. The Jets would have won. But instead, it's a 3-and-out. On 3rd and 3, Justin Fields made the wrong read. He kept it, but he should have handed it off. And Breece Hall could have had a first down if he just handed the ball off. And Justin Fields had a really good game, but there were some read options where he did not make the right decision in terms of either keeping it or handing it off, but that will definitely figure itself out as the season goes on here. But that, and then on 4th and 3, Garrett Wilson could not hold on to the ball, and they couldn't even get Nick Folk an opportunity to win the game. So those are all the things that I want to get off my chest about that game yesterday. But let's talk about some positives. I promised you we're going to get into the positives at the end of the video, so here it is. There's so many, honestly, and that's why it's frustrating that we lost the game. And I wanted to hide the positives in the end of the video in case people clicked off. So if you're watching it to this point, shout out to you, because some people don't like when I talk positives after the Jets lose. They want me to come on here and whine and cry and be ranty and be negative. But there's some real silver lining here that if you're a Jets fan, you can be optimistic about, starting with the offense. I mean, you look at the running attack. Armand Membu was flawless, having the best rookie performance you can imagine. And you looked at the matchups to watch heading into this game. There were so many people, including myself, that was circling Armand Membou and TJ Watt. He gave up 0 pressures given up by Armand Membou. 0 in his rookie debut against TJ Watt. He was a mauler in the run game. The entire offensive line was great. We lost Elijah Vera-Tucker for the season, folks, and everybody was ready to just give up on the season, give up on this offensive line. You slide Joe Tippmann to right guard, which I think he looks way better at right guard than in center. And Josh Myers is a veteran at center. John Simpson will look fantastic. Olu, all 5 Jets offensive linemen had a heck of a game, and the running attack was really where it all starts. And how many times did I tell you guys in the offseason that it's always going to start with the run game? Shout out to Breece Hall, man. He had one of those vintage performances. He was unstoppable. 100-plus rushing yards on 19 carries, was efficient in the receiving game as well. He looked really good. His vision was there. His footwork was elusive. It was really fun to watch Breece Hall really fulfill his potential as the Jets running back. Now he's got to keep doing it throughout the rest of the season, but I saw flashes of rookie version of Breece, and now we're just waiting for him to break free here from a big-time touchdown run one. Eventually, he will get that. I promise you that. But the offensive line protecting Justin Fields is another thing we have to talk about, because you look at the pockets that he had. Oh my gosh. I mean, Justin Fields was making really good throws all game, and that's where it starts, is the protection. I've never seen a Jets quarterback have that much time before. And whenever the pressure did get to Justin Fields, what makes Fields so special is he finds an open lane in the pocket. He escapes. He can extend plays with his legs, picking up first downs. He can throw the ball on the run. Like, he is a really big difference maker at the quarterback position when he plays at this level. And like, there's a part of me that was looking at Justin Fields at this game and looking around at my friends. I'm like, this guy looks like young version of Lamar Jackson just in this game. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be an MVP or anything, but just from this game alone, watching him play football for the New York Jets at the quarterback position, he was perfect. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch Justin Fields go out there and did what he did. I mean, I was floored. Every third down, it felt like he converted. The Jets did not punt until the third quarter. And he was just making plays, putting the ball exactly where the players needed it, receiving-wise. Tyler Johnson stepped up with big catches. Jeremy Ruckert had a really big 2 catches on third down. Josh Reynolds had a catch. Mason Taylor. And then, of course, how about Garrett Wilson putting up #1 receiver type of numbers? How about that touchdown catch? He had 90-plus yards and a touchdown. And obviously, people are getting on him for dropping that ball at the end of the game, but that was just a really good play by Jalen Ramsey, knocking the ball out. He caught the ball, but then Ramsey popped it out, unfortunately. So I really have a lot of optimism with this Jets offense, but at the same time, they got to get better. They got to improve in ways late in the fourth quarter, because as good as it was not good enough to win. And we're not going to blame the offense for losing the game, but they could have done a little bit more. Want to give a big shout out to Sleeper, who is the proud sponsor of Jets Media all throughout the season, folks. Don't forget to use the code JETS when you sign up, because you get a $100 deposit match up to $100, folks. And that, of course, has terms and conditions that do apply. It is legal in 25 states. You guys can build a fantastic parlay, win a lot of cash over there. Please bet responsibly, but I want to make sure you guys know that Sleeper is the proud sponsor of the channel all throughout the season. Link is in the description. Don't forget to use the code JETS when you sign up. The defense, I want to talk about something with this unit, because they were obviously the big reason why we lost the game, but it wasn't the entire defense. The secondary outside of Sauce was the issue. The Jets' front seven was fantastic. You talk about Quinnen Williams was the highest graded Jet on the roster. He was flawless. He had a sack against Rodgers. He was stopping the run. He was great. Will McDonald had 2 sacks. Quincy Williams had a sack. Jermaine Johnson was making plays. And it felt like this Jets defense, they stopped the run and they were getting pressure, but the back end just failed. And Rodgers just kept doing those play action rollouts. Arthur Smith is a really good offensive coordinator that knows how to call plays, obviously, and Aaron Rodgers was picking this team apart in the back end. It wasn't like the Jets couldn't stop the run. It wasn't like we weren't getting any pressure. We were doing those things, but Rodgers did a really good job of getting the ball out fast and finding the open players down the field and recognizing the coverages, and that was the frustrating part. I think that this defense is going to get better as the season goes on. I really believe that, and it's going to start in the back end, because if the back end is really this much of a liability outside of Sauce Gardner, maybe a long season. But outside of that, that's really all the positives. The biggest stars of this one is Armand Membou. That was a big plus. Breece Hall, big plus. Garrett Wilson, big plus. Justin Fields, big plus. Tanner Engstrand, the creativity was flawless. I think the only issue was that play call for the 2-point conversion. But outside of that, those are my complaints. Those are my concerns and the positives. Everything I got off my chest here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had to just rant here on this video. I appreciate if you watch this long 15-ish minute video. If you stayed it to the end, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit comment down below the plane emoji as well. I love you guys so much. Jets fans, we're going to be fine. I think this is going to be a fun season. I don't know if it's going to end off with a playoff appearance or not. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just saying, is this going to be a successful season or not? Are we going to be bottom barrel? Are we going to be at the top? I don't even care about that right now. But being present in this moment, looking ahead to Buffalo, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm out of here. Let's go Jets.